Yeah.
You expect Phil to be available for Friday?
Yeah, we do. He's been incorporated into practice, and not full go yet, but working with J-Wall still, and just taking it day by day and trying to increase the activity each day, and we're confident, that he'll be ready.
It's far too simple to say. I mean, you missed him at Dayton, but there was more than just him against Dayton. Dayton's a really good team.
Yeah.
They won 21 games, I think, or something like
Yeah,
that.
what
lessons do you take from that?
Certainly the execution on defense wasn't there. We made some uncharacteristic plays, in that game. Our defense has been really strong. We've guarded the 2 well, we've guarded the 3 well. We've rebounded relatively well on the defensive end. The one area that we've had issues with is the fouling. Gave up too many catch and shoot threes. Gave up too many layups. The guys saw them all yesterday, and kind of how they took place. But occasionally you're going to have some games like that. Where you're doing some things that you don't typically do. And you have to give Dayton credit. They played a really good game, on Friday night, and they made shots. Some of them were tougher, than some others, and they made shots at the end of the clock. We were able to get them to the end of the clock quite a few times, and a lot of times those can end up really challenged and hard, and some were, and you have to give them credit for making them.
How fast does your mind turn after that game to how can I use this to have us playing our best basketball in DC?
Yeah, I think this team's always been resilient and responsive, to not playing its best, and sometimes we haven't played particularly well and we've won. Honestly, the Dayton game at Dayton, we didn't play particularly well. We just ended up winning, and there were others. And so we try to learn from every game, regardless of the circumstances. But obviously, when you take an L like that, it hurts. And certainly our team was hurt after the game. But you also have to refocus and reframe kind of where you're at. And this team has a lot to be proud of, and we've got to show gratitude and appreciation for what this group has been able to do, in terms of winning a regular season championship. And I think that's that certainly is a positive for us. And now we're just turning our attention to being hungry in the tournament.
As we talked about it in a few points this season, one of the more experienced teams in the country in terms of your graduate players in the college basketball games they've played. Is that perhaps most useful late in the year in a tournament setting?
Yeah, I mean, they've seen a lot, certainly, during their careers. And, I think it certainly has benefited us, this season. The poise and the confidence that these guys have, the dominating mentality and hungriness to succeed and do it together, because that's ultimately what it is. If it's all on one person to do it, well, you're probably not going to have the best team you can have. And this group has really competed together, and they take up for one another. And I think moving into this tournament, we realize anything can happen in these tournaments. In conference tournaments, everybody has a new leash on life, right? And or playing for the same thing, that automatic berth, and everyone wants to cut the nets down. And so you have to focus on the things that we've practiced all year and the things that we've seen in games all year, and try to really execute that, throughout the weekend.
What is something that you've discovered, or something that you go to for tournament play, regardless of the team that you have, in getting them ready? You have a little bit of a layoff. It's kind of like a bye week, but you also have the advantage of whomever your opponent is. You've already seen them at least once this year. Is there something that you personally can carry through each team, through each tournament, through each conference that you've been in?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team's different. I say that a lot, but I think this team's mindset, hasn't changed. They want to win another championship, and they've accomplished their first goal, which was regular season, and now the second one is to try to win the conference tournament. And obviously we've played all of these teams, at this point, and certainly in the first matchup, we just played Duquesne not too long ago, and St. Bonaventure, we played them early, in 2 games, and so they each provide a very stiff challenge, in that first game. No matter who gets through that first game, we know it's going to be a battle, and we've got to be ready. And I think our guys understand, the situation, and the fight that you're going to have, and we're going to have in order to be successful. And you have to just, in the week leading up to it, you have to work on the things that the vitamins and the things that we know are going to help us within the game, and have helped us all year. But then also shore up, special situations and things like that we have to be ready for.
You said yesterday you're kind of preparing as if you're playing 2 teams right now, right? Are you looking at both Bonaventure and Duquesne? And does the prep extend beyond that to who you could meet in the semifinals? Yeah,
there's no question about it. I mean, you can't get too far ahead, though. I mean, you'll be out. And so you have to focus on the game that you're getting ready to play, and that's the most important game. And then you can turn the page, because remember, those teams have to do the same thing, that are sitting in that same bracket with you. But you can implement things without the team even knowing, kind of what you're doing. From a shell defensive perspective, you can work on certain things that, on your side of the bracket you might see. But ultimately, the primary work will always be, the 2 teams that you're getting ready to face, and the challenges that they, provide. You've got to be ready for them.
When you were a kid, did you get to go to the ACC tournament?
Oh yeah, definitely. Every year, and once Dad was a head coach at Wake, it was always in Greensboro, Charlotte, so it was so close. We were always there, and we were fortunate that was kind of at the height of his career, where he won those back-to-back championships, and so there's some great memories. And at that point in time, I was at Hampton-Sydney playing, and so we would have the NCAA tournament stuff, and eventually it would finish, and then we would kind of move over to following Wake Forest, through their runs in the NCAA tournament, so that was certainly a special time.
Did you see Childress's 40-point game?
Oh yeah. I was sitting right there watching it, and it was obviously an amazing overall performance throughout that whole weekend. I mean, that was still ranks as the best ever. And then for them to follow it up the next year, and lose their point guard in Tony Rutland in that championship game. I mean, they had the best team in the country that year, and I would argue they probably would have won it. No disrespect, Coach Pitino, but losing him to that ACL was a big deal, and they were number 1 for a reason, and that was disappointing, that happened, to Tony and the team. But, they still made the Final 8 and had a great run at it.
You don't have a white suit, do you?
No white suits. No white suits. Yeah, we'll leave that to him.
Big differences between last year and this year in terms of the structure for you guys. Obviously, less travel. You're a higher seed now, so you're playing later, and you don't have the off day. Are there any key differences that make this week look much different prepping for the A10 tournament last year?
It's definitely different because there's you have longer time to kind of get ready, which is great. The disadvantage of playing that, not playing that day, but the other teams having a day on you and getting used to the arena and all that. Like, we won't have practiced in there at all, going into the game. We do get a longer warm-up because we're the first game, which is great. But typically, you're going to shoot around in the gym, whether you're playing at home or on the road, before the game. We practice in Siegel the day before every game. Same thing when we go on the road. We're able to get a shoot around or potentially even a practice if it's an early game the next day. And you don't have that opportunity in this one, but you do have a full warm-up, which is great. And, I think, for us, our guys should be rested. They should be mentally ready to attack the weekend, and most importantly, attack that first game.
You said you're at Georgetown. Is that where you guys are?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're practicing at Georgetown on Thursday, and we're staying, relatively close to there, which will be good. So it's a good, the guys will have time to kind of walk around, when they want to, and rest when they want to, and just really focus on the prep, for the game.
How good would you, I'm going to ask you to self-evaluate, how good are you personally at canceling, you ask your kids to cancel out distractions outside, whatever might be happening. How good do you think you are personally at canceling stuff like that out?
I think I focus on the task at hand. I mean, my job is to be there for this program and these kids, and that's my total focus every day. And I go to bed thinking about it. I dream about it. Quite honestly, I literally have like stuff in dreams, like, plays and things that I might want to do or whatever. And that sounds odd, but it is what it is. And so, I think distractions, we had Alex Peavy talk to our team a week ago before the Dayton game about focus, and what it takes to focus. We all, our minds wander, right? To different things. You have thoughts going through your head right now. Thankfully I can't read what those thoughts are, or else I'd really be a rich guy. But anyway, you have to be able to get your mind back. And how do you do that? It's recognizing that you are distracted, and then getting yourself back to that zone where you need to be. And that's what the greatest athletes and coaches and business people, are able to do. And it's all about controlling what you can control and focusing on, the process, that it takes to be successful. And we feel we've got a really good process here, at VCU and this particular team. And, one of the ways that you remain focused is to put the phones down, and stay away from social media and things of that nature. You lose a game and, the world's going to end. You win a game and you're the best team in the world. And so you can't ride that roller coaster. You've got to remain, focused on what the task at hand is.
Okay.
There we go.
Appreciate you, Coach.
You got it.